第二家园的人性战略，老有所养。
The humanitarian strategy of the second home, now new Oasis for life. The care for the old. Jiefeng. One of the greatest worries of life is the lack of support and care, and the fear of loneliness and solitude at the old age. One fears that there might be no one to take care and handle his or her funeral affairs, so a person would raise sons and daughters so that he or she might have someone to take care of him or her at the old age. In every society there are people who have no kins and could not support themselves. Everyone hopes to have a good beginning and a good ending and have someone to take care of him or her at the old age. People have tried different ways to achieve this ideal, for example, the building of communities, entering the monasteries, Taoist temples, and nursing homes. The core of the hope is still built upon the support and care provided by children. If the problem of care for people at the old age cannot be solved completely, people's anxiety and fear would be difficult to banish, and it will be difficult to realize a harmonious and auspicious society and banish a series of related social problems, such as family conflicts, inheritance of property, and children's worries. The problem of supporting the aged people is a social issue. All members of the society should contribute their wisdom to solve this problem once and for all. Relying solely on children or social help is like scratching an itch from outside the boot, and thus cannot address the root of the problem, because children may not be completely reliable, and the care and help from the society may not reach everyone that needs it. The sea of suffering is boundless, but you can find the shore if you turn back your head. The will of the greatest Creator is to ensure that everyone has a joyful, pleasant, free and happy life, and Jesus Christ and Buddha Sakyamuni have always been concerned about everyone's happiness. The Prophet Muhammad has also toiled all his life for the happiness of mankind. Marx, Lenin, Mao Zedong and other great men have all pursued all their life to solve the tribulations of mankind. The sages and saints in history have all thought about and strived for the happiness of the whole mankind. We have come to this new age, we should not shift the responsibility of the care for the aged people to the next generations. At present we should work out a proper solution to this problem and carry it out actively and effectively. In order to achieve this purpose, Humanitarian has founded the second home. The care for the old is one of the humanitarian strategies of the second home. Currently, there are 9 permanent Chanyuan celestials in the second home who are 60 years old and above. 2 of them are in their 70s. The home has provided them everything to meet their needs for food, clothing, shelter, transportation and care. In this home old people are respected, and none of them has ever been maltreated. Old people do not need to worry about their food, clothing, shelter, transportation and health, and do not need to worry whether their children will care for and support them, because this issue has been solved by the home. The care for old people's life should not stop at physiological and material levels, but should extend to their need of spirit and soul. We must make sure that they live in the collective among middle-aged people, young people and children, in the hope for the wonderful future of life, and amidst the self-cultivation and self-refinery, during which one will not regret for dying in the afternoon if he or she has understood Tao in the morning. The practice and life in the second home have proved that old people are not a burden to the home. Instead, they have become the mainstay of the home. They get up early and work till late at night, doing what they can for the home silently. They have worked unselfishly and contributed their wisdom. They have never grumbled about their work. Therefore, it is a huge blessing for old people to stay in the home and for us to live with them. There may be lazy young people, but there have been no lazy old people. This is a real picture of the second home. The second home of Humanitarian has solved the problem of care for the old people, which has remained unresolved for thousands of years. With the continuous consolidation and perfection of the second home, the home will become a fairyland not only for children, but also for young people, middle-aged people and old people. Once you become Chanyuan Celestial and live permanently in the second home, you can rely on it to solve the problem of food, clothing, shelter, transportation, living, old age, health, and death. The young children no longer depend on their parents, and the old people no longer depend on their children.
第二家园的优势互补和相互服务。
The complementation of advantages and mutual services in the second home, Now new oasis for life. Jiefeng. The second home is the transfer station from the human world to the heavenly kingdom. In the second home, Chanyuan celestials who have gradually escaped from the secular program begin to learn the way of life in the heavenly kingdom, especially the way of life in the thousand-year world. In the home they can cultivate the moral sentiment and quality of celestial being in the heavenly kingdom, and lay a foundation of life for entering the heavenly kingdom after departing the human world. Everyone has his or her inborn character, specialty and hobbies. Everyone can fully bring his or her inborn character, specialty and hobbies into play. Everyone can fully utilize his or her advantages. In this way, everything in production and life and every procedure in the second home is done by people with advantages. As a result, everything and every procedure will be completed in the best way. And this is called the complementation of advantages in the home. No one shall be forced to do anything that he or she is not willing to do or is not good at. Everyone should find his or her advantage and bring it into full play. One major characteristic that distinguishes the second home is that in the secular world people in many cases have to do what they do not like to do and what they are not good at. While in the second home, since everyone's food, clothing, shelter, transportation, living, old age, and health and death are taken charge of by the home, the old people are taken care of by the home, the children are brought up and educated by the home, and there is no family in the home, so the work that everyone does is not related to salary, emolument and reward, and there is no distinction between nobility and lowness in any work. Currently, life and production in the second home goes on in a methodically and orderly manner. All work proceeds most perfectly, from cooking, laundering, cleaning, breeding, planting, building houses and so on. All this benefits from the complementation of advantages. For example, recently Yunnan has suffered severe drought, which has seriously affected the availability of water for use and drinking. Because the second home has talents and every one of them has fully utilized their advantages, purchase of electrical generators, pumps, digging wells in the valley, and the pumping of water into the home have all been accomplished smoothly, without the help from the outside. With the development of the home, barbers, doctors, nurse, and teachers will also be needed in the future. Thus, a community resembling the village of thousand-year world is completely established. In addition to the complementation of advantages, another characteristic of the second home that distinguishes it from the secular life is the mutual services provided by Chanyuan celestials to each other. Since they all follow the same values, which conforms to Lao Tzu's teaching of embracing the one as the model of world, every Chanyuan celestial can fully utilize his or her specialty to serve the home. In addition, there is no contention for power, position, honor, interest, and benefit in the home, the mutual services between Chanyuan celestials are thus different in nature from the mutual service in the secular program. In the secular program, even the mutual services between family members have a price tag, have a purpose, and are based on consideration of interest. That is to say, they owe each other a debt. Emotional debt is also a kind of debt. However, in the second home, the mutual service does not involve owing debt to each other. Each does his or her share of work. As a result, everyone is free from spiritual and psychological burdens and can live a life of ease. All that accompanies life is pleasure and happiness. In the second home, everyone is only responsible for the greatest creator and for themselves. Everything they do is to accomplish their cultivation. Here people don't ascribe to the value that, I do this for the good of the home and all people. No one should lecture anyone about high-sounding principle, and should not try to impose his or her own life outlook and values on others. Everyone shall abide by 800 values for new era human being. Everyone shall focus on perfecting themselves, and practice the principle that, I don't offer help if no one asks for it, and I will immediately give a hand if someone turns to me for assistance, and that, I don't mind the troubles of other people, I don't concern other people's business. These values come from the consciousness of celestial being in the heavenly kingdom, and have provided fundamental guarantee that life at Chanyuan does not evolve into a religious or political organization. The second home is developing healthily, is perfecting itself after the model of thousand-year world, and is currently becoming better and better. More than 60 people from different areas are living in peace and harmony. There have never been cases of contradictions, conflicts, and everything goes on in perfect order. This has proved that the values of Life-Genuine is correct, reasonable, and insightful. If we adhere to the values, fully utilize our own advantages, serve each other, we can be guaranteed the joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing, and we will certainly marching toward the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, and celestial island continent of the Elysium world.
混沌管理，谁建议谁负责？
Holographic management. Whoever advances the proposal will be responsible for the proposal. Jiefeng. It is easy and simple to make a proposal, but not so easy and simple to put it into practice. A good proposal is comparable to the fulcrum of a lever stick, with which a small weight can exercise great impact and bring about countless profits. A bad idea, on the other hand, can disturb one's thread of thought, can make one weighed down with work, and can cause the collapse of the whole collective or the whole cause. Life-Genuine does not adopt democratic management system. Instead, it adopts holographic management system. Each affair, be it small or big, shall be taken charge of by one person only. The person in charge of the affair employs superhuman philosophy, namely, either what you say counts or what I say counts. If what I say counts, then you listen to me, and I will be responsible for all consequences and faults. If what you say counts, then I listen to you, and you will be responsible for all consequences and faults. There is no room for compromise. Cut down all useless affairs, useless talks, and useless actions. All affairs for which you cannot undertake responsibility are useless affairs. All talks for which you cannot undertake responsibility are useless talks. And all actions for which you cannot undertake responsibility are useless actions. Therefore, anyone who puts forward a proposal must first of all clearly understand that he can shoulder the corresponding responsibility for the proposal. If he cannot measure up to the proposal and is not willing to shoulder the responsibility, then his proposal can only amount to useless talks and useless actions, no matter how good your proposal might be. Everyone has his own set of thinking. The thinking of the specific responsible person is most practical. When doing things, one should follow his own thinking. Only in this way can he have a control of the overall situation and a definite goal in view. If he lets himself led blindly by others' proposals, he will easily lose his way, wobble in his actions, shift his responsibility onto others, and neglect his duty. Hence, when someone has undertaken certain responsibility and is going all out for its performance, others had better cooperate actively instead of only putting forward ideas and suggestions. Those who speculate to secure personal gains are inclined to only offer suggestions and are not willing to do practical things. Those who shy away from hard tasks and responsibility are only engaged in bragging and boasting. They are called sponger in the history of China. They make use of their wits to earn a living. Chief of Staff, Commissar, and Idea Man all belong to this category. They need not take responsibility if they have messed things up. And the worst scenario is that they just resign and walk away. If things go smoothly and succeed, they simply try various means to claim credit for the success and secure personal promotion. If the world is plagued with such kind of people, more and more people will become experts of speculation for personal gains. More and more people will excel in hypocrisy, cheating, scheming, and power struggle. These people will make trouble out of nothing and bring calamity to the people and the country. All those who like to make proposal but cannot put it into practice themselves are mostly people who have no practical capabilities and are unwilling to engage in practical actions but want to show off their wits and secure glories for themselves. People of this kind are superficial, frivolous, and empty. They will only be friends of good time, and will not offer help when someone is really in need of it. They would not forge forward step by step. Instead, they want to have a meteoric rise and become the center of power. People who are brave to take up responsibility generally don't put forward ideas or suggestions. Instead, they simply say, "I will do this." People who do not want to do anything practical but want to intervene in it are those who bring ruin to the matter instead of contributing to the success of it. Life-Genuine is to usher in the age of Life-Genuine for mankind, so it must pioneer a new pattern of management for mankind. It should reduce useless talk and action to the greatest extent, and arrange to the front line of production those people who put up a boastful appearance but don't do any practical thing, who only talk rubbish and engage in speculation to secure personal gains, and who only want to flaunt themselves. Every member shall be involved in a specific task, and the nature of such tasks must be strictly limited to the creation of spiritual, soul, and material wealth. Otherwise, he or she is just making rubbish, virus, and disaster. In life genuine, people with a practical attitude are most respected, while people with a boastful and impractical attitude are most despised. How much value you have is not decided by what you say but by what you do. Life genuine does not refuse proposal, but the person that makes the proposal must take the charge and be responsible for what he has proposed. In this way, the person who puts forward the proposal will be one whose words are consistent with his actions, and the one who acts and thinks in one and the same way, and the one who has a noble character and is willing to make contributions. Life genuine will carry on the great cause of unifying all thoughts and all methods and initiating the period of life genuine for mankind. What we are doing is vast and endless. As long as you are willing, everyone can most fully bring his or her talent into play. Our approach to proposal is that whoever makes the proposal shall be responsible for it.
混沌管理，不管是最好的管理。
Holographic management. No management is the best management. Jiefeng. The most ingenious swordplay does not need a sword. The best tactics is to defeat the enemy without actually engaging in a war. A psychological attack is superior to attack at the city. There seems to be no law, but actually law prevails everywhere. There seems to be no regulation, but actually regulation reigns supreme everywhere. This is holographic management. Those who are highly conscious, civilized, well-educated, and strictly compliant to the Chanyuan values can bring their genius into full play, just like birds soaring freely in the expansive sky and the fish swimming and leaping in the boundless ocean. You can move about freely and quickly on the vast flat plains, with no hurdles to slow you down. Those who are not highly conscious, not civilized, and not well educated and always run counter to the value of Chanyuan will always encounter cliffs and precipices and brambles. They will be restricted and restrained in words and actions. In this home, no one will take charge of you, you take charge of yourself. You have your own conscience to pass judgment on what you say and what you do. You set up a court of judgment in your own mind, you yourself are the judge. If you cannot take charge of yourself, penalty will descend upon you any time. To be managed by others does not conform to the requirements for a celestial being. In this situation, both the managing and the managed will feel tired and exhausted. Wherever there exists management, there will be conflicts and contradictions, open and veiled struggles and contention for power and profit. Wherever there exists management, there will be no joy, pleasure, freedom, and happiness. Therefore, there is no management in this home. In this home between Chanyuan celestials there exist only relations of brothers, sisters, relatives, and lovers, which involve only mutual care and love, mutual help and support, mutual comfort and encouragement. There does not exist the question of who is in charge of whom. This home is not a political organization, nor a religious organization, nor organization of any form. Since it is not an organization, there is no distinction between the managed and the managing. Each Chanyuan celestial is responsible for the greatest creator, and for himself or herself, not for others. Everything here is done by Chanyuan celestial voluntarily. There is not any coercion. Therefore Chanyuan celestials do not owe each other any debt. The home does not owe Chanyuan celestials anything, and Chanyuan celestials do not owe each other anything. Everything is done on a voluntary basis. If you cannot understand this, you had better leave as soon as possible. All Chanyuan celestials have come to this home for the purpose of achieving the spiritual state of a super-celestial being. They have come here to better themselves. They accumulate their own merits and virtues. Do not mind others' business or worry for others, and do not make comparisons between each other. We know that everything runs according to Tao. Mills of God grind slowly but surely. You reap what you have sowed. We ourselves shall be solely responsible for what we say, what we do, and what we get. No one else will be responsible for you. You have no one to blame. because every Chanyuan celestial has thinking and independent consciousness, and does everything according to your own free will and consciousness. In the home there is division of labor, but this division of labor is not forced upon you by anyone. You have willingly accepted it. Anyone has the right to refuse to do something and the right to decide what not to do. This holographic order of management runs and operates by relying completely on the sincerity, kindness, virtue, love, honesty, and faith of every Chanyuan celestial, by relying completely on the highly voluntary will of every Chanyuan celestial, and completely in accordance with the life pattern of celestial beings in the thousand-year world. Only this holographic order of management can create the quality needed by the heavenly kingdom. Only this holographic order of management can make it possible for different flowers to blossom in a riot of colors, for different geniuses to show their own special skills and feats, for all Chanyuan celestials to bring their talents into full play, and for each Chanyuan celestial to manifest his or her best quality. This home does not permit the existence of coercion. Anyone who imposes upon others and has incurred harms of spirit, or soul or body to other Chanyuan celestials will face the risk of being expelled from this home at any time. This home practices the moral value that, I do not offer help if there is no request for it. In the meanwhile, you should try your best to help and respond to every request if any Chanyuan celestial turn to you in the matter of work. However, you have absolute right, if you don't feel like it, to turn down any request in the matter of life, feeling and emotion, and do not offer help against your free volition, because feeling and emotion involves tacit understanding and mutual attraction. It is hoped that all Chanyuan celestials can deeply understand that as long as everyone puts into practice all these principles, they will feel the wonder and satisfaction of holographic management. Once you have understood and observed this mode of management, you will enjoy tacit understanding, and you will say how wonderful it is.
混沌管理，八仙过海各显神通。
Holographic management. Everyone can show his special feats just like 8 Chinese immortals crossing the sea. Jiefeng. The ultimate goal of Chanyuan celestials is to become celestial beings, whose greatest characteristics are joy, pleasure, happiness, and especially freedom. Thus this home of ours is so managed as to make everyone happy and free. Anything that shackles our happiness and freedom is against the holographic management. How can all the affairs of the home be managed in a lively and orderly manner, and how can we ensure that everyone is joyful, pleasant, free, and happy? How can we guarantee both unified will and individual happiness? There are no better methods except that everyone upholds the Chanyuan values and most fully utilizes their sincerity, kindness, virtue, love, honesty, and faith. There are no special administrators in this home. Everyone is an administrator. Everyone serves the home according to his or her character and capability. Everyone is in charge of himself or herself. Everyone contributes creatively to the home. Everyone is responsible for a specific task. It is impossible to want to do everything, nor is it possible to be unable to do anything. One must carry through to the end what he or she has begun doing, not leaving it to others. In this home, everyone does his own work and does not worry about others' work. They should mind their own business instead of others. He or she does not interfere in others' affairs, no matter whether they are busy or free. Everyone should only take care of his or her own business. Whether or not others have done their work well is none of your business. Just look at yourself, do not look at others. Any jealousy, complaint, criticism, and reproach is wrong and goes against the mechanism of holographic management. Currently there are 32 Chanyuan celestials who are free of any care and are devoted to our home body and soul. Hundun Celestial, Taiji Celestial, Ahuang Celestial, Wanyan Celestial, Hungda Celestial, Shungong Celestial, Endi Celestial, Shunxi Celestial, Songhai Celestial, Jiawa Celestial, Fia Celestial, Chuangya Celestial, Xuanda Celestial, Edi Celestial, Puxia Celestial, Tianbao Celestial, Shanbao Celestial, Lianxia Celestial, Jinxi Celestial, Qianghua